Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this webinar by Be in Touch. We are here to talk about Snapchat. We are here to figure out what's going on inside our kids' lives and worlds. And in this presentation, we're going to take you very quickly, very deeply into everything you need to know about Snapchat so that you can make the best parenting decisions that you need to take care of your kids and make sure that they stay safe and sane online. Please do stick around until the end. We've got an award, we've got a prize, which we'll be handing out to one of the viewers depending on how they interact with a final question, which will be a simple one, but an important one at the end of the presentation. So thank you so much for joining us. My business partner, Kate, is in the chat, and you can feel free to pop any questions in there. If you are hearing me loud and clear, everyone please put a thumbs up into the chat and let me know that all is going well. I'm getting a whoop whoop from Keegan. He sounds like a very excited parent, just the kind of parent that we need in these kind of workshops, because what we have to talk to you about is really important. Kate is saying hello. You can post any questions into the chat. If you have anything that you want to find out, she's going to be posting links in there. We've got free resources and we've got products that we're going to be talking about that can help you along this digital journey. And if you look just below me, let me see if I can get my finger in the right place. I think it's exactly there. You'll see a little button that says products and downloads. We've got a bunch of free downloads that can help you. Everything from smartphone contract templates to digital family alliance guides to talking to your children about pornography, all the stuff that we're going to cover that can happen as a result of Snapchat use. And then we've got a bunch of products as well that can help you in your relationship to your device use in your home. So whether it's software controls or getting devices out of the bedrooms, but I jumped the gun. Let's jump straight into our presentation and get going. We are so glad you're here. And we know that kids are going online younger and younger, and there is exposure to about 4 billion strangers online these days. So there are big risks, but parents are busy, and keeping your kids online, keeping up with what they do is hard, but it doesn't have to be. So that's what we're here to do to help simplify this decision-making process for you. We want to say from the get-go that we are pro-tech. We love technology. I've been deep diving into Snapchat, and actually what you could do with it is amazing. It's an incredible social tool, but we have to be aware of the risks and we have to be aware of the age appropriateness. Those are the two major things we're going to cover today. But more than anything, we want to make sure that you have got ammo to talk to your kids. And the fact is that we actually do know quite a lot at Be in Touch about what our kids are going through. The thing that we do best is connect with children and find out what their digital wellness challenges are, their mental health challenges that come as a result of their digital wellness use. Up here, you can have a look and you can see the kind of stuff that we do. I come in and give a talk about my digital world, my early exposure to pornography at age 9, all the challenges I've had, depression, anxiety to do with my device use, and later substance use, because that is where these things end up if we don't manage early. And we find out all these incredible statistics about, what percentage of a school's class is being cyberbullied or watching pornography. And then we help those schools deal with those issues to make sure that they are dealt with so that we can make sure that our children are safe and sane online. So we're going to jump in now to exactly what is Snapchat. And the more I learn about Snapchat, the more I realize that there is a lot to it. It is a very comprehensive platform. Not only is it a messaging platform like WhatsApp that you can also then connect with people that you've never met before, but it is also like a social media, almost like Facebook or Instagram, except that you've got a much higher rate of posting things, and it's gamified in a way to do that. And you can also play games through the app itself. So it's kind of got an online social game platform. And then, of course, it is very much video intensive. And we'll get into that a little bit more as we go along. But suffice to say, as I said before, it's a really interesting platform. But it's not my favorite, I got to say, especially because they know the ages of children that are on there. And it really is not appropriate for a lot of the young people we see on this platform. It is rated as an age 13 app, but we feel and we agree with Common Sense Media, who kind of the gold standard on real age guides, that it shouldn't be younger than 16. So not only do we say that you should delay giving your child a smartphone for as long as you can, but also delay their access to social media. And Snapchat would be one of the last ones I'd have on that list. So there's tons we can learn about Snapchat and all the different terms that are around in terms of, the language that people use. Kids generally say, hey, send me a snap. That's what these chats are about. There's something particularly nasty called snap streaks, which is a gamified, incentivized way in which children send messages to each other, one after the other. And for every day that you've done that in a row, you get this streak. And then you can imagine the anxiety that comes when you've got a snap streak of 300 days and then you don't send a streak to one of your friends, and then they get very angry with you. There's a big, let's pick up some of the other ones here. Memories is an interesting part of the app where you can save images in your own vaulted area so people can't see it, and you need a code to see the pictures that have taken there, so it doesn't go into the camera roll like normal camera apps. Discover, you can have a look at other people's platforms and profiles, so it's more public. The Snap Map is one of our big concerns with this one, because you can actually see where people are on a map, and you can zoom out and have a look at the whole of South Africa and see where people are snapping the most. So we're not sure about that. It's a little bit of a red flag for us. And then there's very much an incentivized approach to getting people to create content. So the Spotlight feature encourages creators to compete for a share of $1 million, which is a giveaway for best performing videos. So it's very gamified. It uses a very powerful AI to make sure that your child is spending the most amount of time on the platform that they can get them to. We're going to jump into more specific things later on, but there's a lot to cover here. Suffice to say that this webinar will not be enough to get you to everything you need to know about Snapchat, and that is just the nature of digital parenting. It's an ongoing process, and we're here to partner with you to make sure that you are learning. So you can download it using your email address, your name, phone number, and you get added in. This is Kate, my business partner, Snapchat. If any of you guys are snapping out there, you can be sure to just use that Snapchat logo over there, and you'll tie into her friend list, which would be great. But the really big thing that kids love about this is all the filters and all the ways in which you can manipulate your image, which has its own challenges in terms of body image, in terms of Kate said she would appreciate if you don't add her on Snap, but I think it would be funny if you do. So Keegan, why don't you jump into Snap and send her something? So the way we use this platform is the app itself is that it's really about creating content, which is great. We are very much at Be in Touch all about a belief that good content can change the world. And so we want children to be content producers and not creators and not consumers, sorry. But unfortunately, if that's not done age appropriately, something like what you're seeing on my left over here is going to just completely consume a young child, because there's so many different ways and they're limitless. There's no, as you never get to the end of your Netflix binge. You never get to the end of a series. There's always another thing. So kids are always wanting to explore. So they're going to keep exploring these filters, one after the next, after the next, after the next. Not to mention the way it changes their faces. And then when they look in the mirror, they don't look as exciting. And that can cause self-esteem issues as well. This is the Snap Map. And as you can see, your little emoji that you create of yourself. So it's this character you create. Can be shared, and you can add it to the story, to the Snap Map, and you can be found like this, which is a big issue because we've got no assurance that the people that your child is chatting with on Snapchat are in fact their age, and very soon they could be ending up in an environment where there is no limits at all in terms of what is discussed and what is done, and we're gonna explore some of the dangers that can have for your child. I want to remind you that we've got the chat open. We've got questions in there. So please do pop a question. And it's important to realize if you're asking a question, somebody else is asking the question too. And a big piece of our work that we do here at Be in Touch is breaking down the digital isolation and building the digital village so that parents all together are on the same page. If you are watching this on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, please make sure that you go through to our webinar URL, which Kate will put into the chat. But I will bring it up on screen in a moment so that you can type it in and get access to those resources and downloads and the products that we're going to be talking about later that can help you. So if you're watching this on one of the social media streams, please make sure that you head into beinTouch.org.za/webinars/Snapchat so that you can get all the extra free bonuses that we have for you. Snapchat allows for individual texting, and the big thing about it is that you can delete messages. It's apparently this space where messages do not live forever. Somehow they've got around our digital footprints, and kids can do whatever they want on this platform. And really that is just simply not true. Not only can people that you send snaps to take a screenshot, you will get a notification if they do, but depending on how you're posting, and you might not be posting the way that you think you want to be, it might be public, or you might be on the Snap map and you don't know how to turn it off, which we'll get into. It's an issue because you can't just assume that everything's deleted. And obviously, as we know, when things are anonymous, the worst comes out of us and we say things that we would really regret. And we got to know that our children are putting things out there that they might regret. So, as I said, it's very gamified, very, very heavily gamified to make children engage with this platform as much as possible because, again, it is a free platform and there's advertising revenue to be sold, and that's what this company is selling. You can earn what are called Snapchat charms. So these are special charms that are based on your interactions with your relationship. So it's getting in the way of that status dynamic that kids need to feel safe in their groups. And it's making sure that they only do that on this platform. I spoke about Snap Streaks just a moment ago, but Snap Charms are another way in which that happens. And I mean, let's be honest, they do love the way that they use Snapchat, and they love it because it's fun, it's quick, there's lots of filters, as I said. They can hang out with their parents, hang out with their friends without their parents following them. That's why they're not on Facebook or anything that we might be on. And they use it as their news feed. So more and more companies and brands are using Snapchat stories to post content and to start engaging with consumers, which is what they call our kids, even if they are 11 years, 9, 10. They are what's called tweens, which was a term invented by corporate advertising because, you know, the market felt different about people marketing to teens and to young children. So they invented the word tweens, and that's who's on this platform. So definitely something to be aware of. The things that we've mentioned already, the lack of safety around location and what can come as a result of physical interactions with strangers. But there's a lot of sexting and pornography that happens on this platform because there's this illusion that everything I post disappears. There's a lot of cyberbullying because you can be sending messages to people without them giving consent to receive a message. There's a lot of drug, vaping, and alcohol deals that are made. And of course, there's human and sex trafficking deals that happen as a result of the interactions. Again, the older your child is, hopefully the more clued up they are about using these platforms. So the older your children are, the more we need to rely on what's called relationship and not regulation. So we are relationship over regulation, excuse me. And the younger they are, the more susceptible they'll be to the ways in which this app motivates them to behave. And there is a culture that lives in Snapchat of who can post the most attractive or insightful, posts, things that get a lot of attention. And that unfortunately drives quite negative behavior as opposed to positive. Not to say that it can't be useful, but again, you have to be checking in with your child around how they're using it. And because Snapchat is so restricted, it makes it very difficult for parents to actually see what their kids are doing. So something else to think about. The big points of concern that we've chatted about already, the Snap Map, because friends can see each other, and not only friends, but you are visible to other people that can contact you and that they are in your vicinity, which is an issue. Of course, that is a safeguarding issue because people then can connect to you and know where you are. Snap Streaks. So this is this highly addictive way of getting children to send messages one to the other. Basically, they end up sending photos of the ceiling, and then they write an S on it so that you know that it's not actually any photo of importance. It's just to keep our streak alive. And then they send one back and back and back. And we've heard horror stories of children giving away their phones or their passwords so that their friends will keep a snap streak alive, just so that, when the kids are on holiday in the bush or whatever, they keep their streak alive. And then obviously passwords get hacked and accounts get hacked and phones get stolen and lost. So it's just the worst of what we call persuasive technology in the social media space. So quick ads, another, it's a term used to describe when you add someone that's not in your known friend network. So you can just start talking to strangers. Massive red flag as well. And of course, that's where grooming can happen. And we have a lot of kind of statistics around the grooming that does happen on Snapchat, and it's not good. There's actually a whole campaign by an activist that we followed and unfortunately passed too early, but his name is Colin. And he had a whole ban Snapchat campaign that was getting a lot of attention last year. And of course, Discover, which is basically like the Discover page on Instagram or one of the other social media sites, is that you can just search for any term, and depending on what's tagged on that, you can then get access to what that tag is. So very easily get explicit content and age inappropriate content. And as we've said, teens are going to be posting things that are more risque when they think it is going to disappear. And for example, over here is where you can set up how long something lasts on your friend's phone. But as we know, that screen grab is there, the screen recording is there using other apps. So there are ways around this, and kids need to be aware of that it can be very disruptive to their lives. I talk in schools about, my misspent youth. And one of the things was that I ended up on the cover of a varsity newspaper as the picture of, over partying and the issue of binge drinking in varsity colleges. And I had to hunt for that picture for 2 months. I had to call people, to literally get someone to go into the library and look through archives to get that photo. These days, it would have been plastered all over social media, and that would have been the end of me. This guy that is speaking is a guy called Smith Alley. And why I bring it up is that it's not just us. It's not just our generation that is concerned about this. This is a young person that's identified that there is an issue with the way in which we are using social media, and it can be causing a lot of issues. Dr. Lauren Berman, I will bring up her video now so that we can get a sense of what she's talking about as well. Here we go. Sorry
Our
about
son
that.
Sammy was an amazing kid. Sweet, funny, curious. This February, we tragically lost him to a danger lurking in something we're pretty sure your child is using every day. One of these. Sammy was able to buy drugs on Snapchat as easily as he would order a pizza. They were delivered to our home in the middle of the night and were laced with lethal fentanyl without his knowledge. And that's what killed him.
It's so important for us as parents to know what our children are doing on social media, now more than ever. And now new tools are making that knowledge easier for parents to gather. Some social media platforms allow software, such as Bark, to alert parents if dangerous topics appear on their child's social media accounts. Other platforms inexplicably do not, and that's putting our kids at greater risk. Please support the effort to protect all our children from the drug dealers preying on them online. Sign our petition to allow parental monitoring tools on every popular social media platform. And visit parentsforsaferchildren.org to learn more and for crucial resources to keep your children safe.
So a wonderful organization there, the Organization for Social Media Safety, parentsforsaferchildren.org. And we're going to be speaking about Bark, which is one thing that they mentioned, as well as the campaign that they're running. And you got to know that there is support out there for these terrible, terrible stories that have happened. And unfortunately, the longer that I spend deep diving into how social media is affecting our children's lives, the more these stories we're finding out. And we don't have to wait until it gets all the way there. There are lots of ways in which we can start this conversation earlier with our children, and that's really where we want to go now. We want to encourage you as parents that it is not just about regulation. We're going to be giving you some practical tools that can do that, but it is so important that you talk to your children about their worlds, about what is going on in their lives. There's a very powerful quote from an author that we follow called Titania Jordan, and she says it like this: if you don't know what's going on in your child's digital life, chances are you don't know what's going on in your child's life at all. And when I say that in parent workshops, you can hear a pin drop because it hurts and it's true. So we're here to encourage you to ask better questions of your children. And these are some of the things that you can talk to them about as they consider using Snapchat. And hopefully they're asking you, what do you think of Snapchat? Can I get it on my phone? And you can have this conversation. So you need to help them understand that nothing that is ever created digitally, no matter what the platform that it's on says, nothing in the digital world is ever really gone. You cannot assume that anything is private on a digital platform. And to take that into a practical space, don't exchange anything that you wouldn't want going public, anything that you wouldn't want walking around with a picture next to you. If you were holding it on your hand, don't post anything online that you wouldn't want, to be seen next to you in real life. Help them understand that it is very addictive and it is designed to be addictive, that it's okay that if they feel that incredible pull, it's not because something's wrong with them. It's because of the human vulnerabilities that we have and the ways in which these platforms manipulate us. It doesn't make a difference how many followers you have on Snapchat. If you don't have real friends to talk to, you're not going to make it through the day. It doesn't matter how much, you have these snap streaks or the charms. It's not about, life is not a game in the way that we're being told it's a game, that there is value to spending time with friends in person and in a healthy way. So to help them understand that they can get obsessive over these things, and to help them understand that it can be used for bullying and excluding others, especially because a lot of teenagers think that they can get away with anything because it just will disappear automatically. So as you have these conversations, you can really talk to them about what it is that they are seeing on their platform, especially if they're older. So if we're looking at the kind of 15, 16, depending where your relationship is with your child, that even though they can't filter the kind of lists of creators and channels that are curated for them and discover, they can unsubscribe or hide them. And of course, that algorithm, it doesn't really care if your child is watching something really bad for them or something really inspiring. All it cares about is maximizing their child's time on screen. So if you can start sending messages back to that platform that you don't like this kind of content or you don't like this kind of language, it's going to improve the quality of the content that they consume. So it's a small thing that you can do, but it is something. I think talking to them about privacy is important. There's, as I said earlier, there's an area in the memories called My Eyes Only, which means that certain snaps are kept in a private vault, which is protected with a passcode. And so talking to them about the difference between spying on them and just monitoring how they're doing is important, so that they understand that your monitoring is not spying, that you're not going to be wanting to see everything in their lives, but you do want to stay connected to what they're doing. You can change profile settings, and this is something you can also do with them, to help them understand more about these platforms, that they can change who can make contact, who can send notification, and who can actually view these snaps. You can turn off your location. Very, very important, that for them to understand that even if you have given them access to an app, that they don't get all of the access that they might want. They can, of course, report, block, and hide any users that are upsetting them or sending negative things. They can do something about it. They can block these people. They can hide any conversations that come from them. But really having that conversation with your child about cyberbullying and is anyone mean online, and you can ask these open-ended questions like, what's the meanest thing that you've seen online in the last while, in a way that they understand that you're not going to be punishing them by taking away that device, that you're going to be helping them manage how they use it. Because at the end of the day, especially in COVID reality, our devices are a connection to the outside world. So we don't want to be causing another problem by dealing with this problem in a way that's not helpful. You can definitely change the ad preferences. This is very, very important. You want to make sure that you're giving away as little of your data as possible, and you're making sure that you're only getting the smallest amount of advertising as possible, because again, that's an external culture influence that's going to change the way your child thinks about the world, that might not be aligned with your brand, your family values. As Nikki Bush says, your family brand. And that they should only share things with friends that they actually know in person. That they should check who's in a group before they jump into it, because this is also something that we're seeing, is that people are getting into these big groups and seeing really horrible things happen in those groups. And if you don't stand up, if something illegal or something horrible is happening in a group, you are accountable, because by not doing something, you are complicit to what's going on in that group. And to always, of course, protect their information, their personal identifiable information, their names, their address, social media accounts, phone numbers, and of course, their bodies, themselves and the parts of their bodies. So as I was saying in the beginning, parents will say, well, how old is too old, or how old is old enough? And Snapchat requires that users are 13, but we know from research that we do and some of our international partners that as much as 78% of children under the age of 13 are on social media. And when we look at what Common Sense Media, and if you don't know these guys, be sure to make a note. I'm going to ask Kate to put that in the chat, the URL for commonsensemedia.org, so that you can go check them out. They've got a lot of resources and a lot of opinions. They've got a really great real age guide on apps, every app that's out there. And they say that it's 16, and I think for good reason, given everything that we've covered in this webinar so far. We'd love you to join the hashtag Let Parents Protect campaign. And again, I'll ask Kate to put that in the chat so that you can click through to that and be a part of helping protect children everywhere. I'm going to take a moment to just talk a little bit about Bark and how exciting it is that Bark is coming to South Africa. We've been working with them for just over a year or so, helping them get settled into South Africa. And it's very exciting to say that I can say as of today, Bark is now available and you can get it for download. Again, I will ask Kate to put a link in the chat for where you can go and support the relationship that we have with Bark. So there's a small affiliation commission that we get through the users that we bring to Bark, but we're very, very proud of the work that they do. And astoundingly, it is launching in Afrikaans. So I'm going to play this short video to give you a little bit of an idea, a little bit more of an idea about what it does and why we are such fans of it. So a very powerful message that we see in that video, and definitely one that resonates with us here at Be in Touch. For me, the best part of that video is the last line, can we talk? And that's exactly what Bark helps you do. You can sign up for a free trial for 7 days, full access, and start to see how it works. It guides you through every way of setting up the app on your child's phone to make sure that when something bad happens, and believe me, it is a when and not an if, we are seeing more and more that parents are coming out of this haze of illusionment that it's not my child. And when something happens, you'll get a notification, and you'll also get some steps that you can take to talk to your child about pornography, violence in the media, self-harm, body image issues, all of the ways in which Bark makes sure that your child is kept safe. So we really do love Bark. Of course, we are here at Be in Touch to help you be in the know. So you can go onto our resources page. That's beintouch/resources, beintouch.org.za/resources, and download everything that you can see in the download page just on this side, just behind this button. We also come out with blogs every month that are to do with trending topics that are happening online that you need to know about, and we will help you to be in the know. We will help you to be inspired so that you can come back time and again to talking to your children about their digital health. It is important to stay inspired because technology is inspiring. We just have to be using it correctly. We've got live screenings of incredibly powerful pieces of media that are informative and inspiring. The one just over here is called Childhood 2.0, which is an incredible documentary that was created in combination with Bark, so that you can learn what it is to be a parent in this digital age. And then, of course, on our website and YouTube channel, we've got lots of small videos that can help you along the journey of understanding what it means to be a digital parent. We want to help you to be on top. And, of course, we just covered Instagram in quite a lot of depth in quite a short amount of time. And we've got next week TikTok coming up on the 22nd, and then Instagram on the 29th. So be sure to register for those webinars and invite your friends to register, because as we know, your child is only as protected as the least informed adult in your digital village. So get your friends, get your family, and join us next week for the next installment of the Terrible Trio, looking at TikTok and the way that affects our children. We do also have these wonderful opportunities for you to be conscious, to look at tools to support your good digital habits. We've got parental controls. We've discussed Bark, and it's also got a hardware solution. There's also Griffin, which is a router. And again, you can learn about all of these on our products page, which is beintouch.org.za/products. We've got charging stations to get devices out of children's bedrooms, and alarm clocks because they keep saying that they need something to help them wake up. The irony, of course, is that our children use their phones for everything except a phone. Children don't use this to call each other. They send snaps, they send voice notes, they go onto the internet, they watch movies. Very seldom do they actually use the telephone function. So it's a bit of an ironic twist that we're in. So we thank you for joining us for this webinar. We hope you will be in touch with your kids. We hope that you'll be in touch with us, and that we are so excited about joining your digital wellness journey with your family. And we understand that your family's digital wellness journey will be unique to it. And we want to make sure that you are able to take that journey with your family in a way that supports the life that you are creating with your family. So please do feel free to be in touch with us. You can check us out at www.beintouch.org.za, or you can contact us using the phones on the screen right now. I'm going to be opening up to any other questions that might be in the chat. So if there are any questions, we can deal with those. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week for the next Be in Touch webinar. Thank you so much.